Hello and welcome back to another Gunpla review. Today we're taking a look at the MSM-07S GOK Char custom type. Now I have already taken a look at the mass production type of this kit a couple months ago. Honestly it's been a while, but I don't mind taking another look at it. So this review is probably going to be pretty similar to that one, but anyway. Let's start, as always, with the articulation. Alright, before we start, at least on the viewfinder, this red is coming across as just like a bright red, and this almost looks orange to me, but no, this is kind of a slightly pastel reddish pink, and this is pretty much almost burgundy, so do keep that in mind. Also, this has a slightly bluish, maybe green tint, whereas it's more just like a flat, medium, dark gray. Maybe it comes across fine on your screen. I don't know, but I figured I'd mention it because, yeah, it's weird that it looks so different. Anyway, moving on to the articulation, sorry. The head, obviously nothing. Doesn't really have a head. The arms, ball joints, out to 90 and can rotate, and these get a bit of wiggle, and a bit of wiggle. And camera, can you please focus? Thank you. And you get about 45 degrees at the elbow, though that does mean that you can get the arm pretty much across the chest, which is all you really need. And also, hands are on a polycap, so they can rotate, and the fingers can all splay out. Claws, but you know. As for the waist, ball joint here. There is a ball joint here, but it's just a swivel. And for the hips, a little bit floppy. I did tighten them with some paint, but apparently that wasn't enough. Out 90 degrees, and they have pretty much the same articulation as the arms, and 90 at the knee, which is nice. And then the feet get pretty good front to back, and a pretty decent tilt given how bulky they are. So really it gets all the articulation you really want, aside from not having an articulated eye, which, given this kit is as old as it is, not really a surprise there. Now, this is normally where I would get into accessories, but aside from the sticker sheet, which obviously I used the mono eye, but I did paint the hexagon on the chest, this is it. I mean, this is a GOK. It doesn't exactly have a bunch of weapons or anything, but there's not a lot to go over. So, like with the previous one, I'll go over color correction. And honestly, this kit does a pretty good job of not really needing any stickers for these, but these are supposed to be gray, and they're the same black plastic that the eye is, so they need to be painted. Aside from that, it's really only additional detail, like eye paint around the inside of this so that it's fully black, because it looks better. Same thing with the hips. But this is pretty much color accurate, and considering this is supposed to be dark gray anyway, you don't really have to paint them in order to be accurate. Also, I will quickly point out that the feet are actually two separate pieces, meaning that there's no hollowness in here. It's a fully filled in bottom, which is nice. And as for a quick size comparison, it's the same size as the mass production. I mean, it's the same mold, of course it is, but yeah, pretty sizable kit, honestly. Despite being in a smaller than what's now standard box, it manages to have a surprising amount of bulk. So to wrap this review up, yeah, I can recommend getting this kit. It aged incredibly well. In fact, this is probably one of my favorite high grades of all time. The articulation still holds up as pretty decent at the very least. The only thing it really is missing is a movable eye, and honestly that's not a big deal. I mean, a lot of mono eyes nowadays are still not getting movable mono eyes, so can't really hold that against it. And you have two options because neither one of these releases was P-band eye. So you can get both of them, and given how cheap they are, I'd recommend getting both of them. I really, really like the high-grade GOK. Anyway, that's all for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for future reviews and watch my backlog. And as always, until next time, happy building.